Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and I welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And also, guys, we're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of this season. So by the end of this year, rather. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and do that. We'd really appreciate that because we want to hit that milestone. Anyway, let me get into this video here. So all of you know. Not all of you, I'm assuming a good majority of you know, that Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player in the NBA. In my opinion, I think he's the best two-way player in the world, and I think he's one of the best playoff performers that we have in the NBA today. If we're looking historically, this is certainly the case, right? I think he's right up there with Giannis Antetokounmpo, because Giannis Antetokounmpo solidified his playoff greatness last season. If he never wins another championship for the rest of his career, that one championship alone in that market, given the fact, and also, taking into account the comments that he made after I did it the right way. I did it the right effing way. You remember, this is how you do it, right? That one thing has worked wonders for his career. But the other reason I like Kawhi Leonard is because of his play style. Because it's very reminiscent of my favorite player of all time, Kobe Bryant. Now, some people may ask, what about Kawhi Leonard reminds you of Kobe? Two very simple things. Number one, his mid-range and his post play. If you go and look at Kawhi Leonard's footwork and his post moves, and you look at his mid-range shots, where he likes to get his shots, one dribble pull up, one dribble going left, bump, pull up, reverse spin, fade away, all of those different. You just go look at Kawhi Leonard and Kobe Bryant's game. They kind of mirror each other. And what happens is, whenever I watch him play, I get very nostalgic watching him play, because it reminds me of Kobe Bryant. It's like watching Kobe Bryant play. Now, obviously, it's not the exact same thing, but it's very similar. And I think that is the same sentiment that Jordan fans share, or that's the same way they feel when they watch Kawhi. I think Jordan fans and Kobe fans kind of identify with one another, given the play styles, given the connection that Kobe and Jordan had, and obviously the connection that Kawhi and Kobe had, given the fact that Kobe started working with him in 2013 when Greg Popovich told Kobe, hey, listen, can you just stand there? Kawhi Leonard doing that All-Star weekend, if you guys remember. So I think MJ fans kind of feel that same kind of thing about Kawhi Leonard, but obviously they're not the same. However, this brings me to an episode or a segment, whatever you want to call it, that I heard from the Redick podcast. While I was listening to that podcast, there was an exchange between him, Pascal Siakam, where they were talking about Kawhi Leonard's last shot. And there was a section in that audio, whatever, in that conversation, where he kind of talked about sort of the comparisons between Kawhi Leonard and Michael Jordan. So what we want to do is we want to play a little bit of some of the comments that he had to make about the Kawhi Leonard and Michael Jordan comparisons, and then we're going to come back and kind of react to some of the things that he said and add our own spin to it. So before we go too far, take a listen to that clip here.
You spent that year with Kawhi, and I remember one of my friends that works in the NBA, works in the front office in the NBA. He texted me early on in the season. It was probably like 15, 20 games. You guys were rolling, obviously, that year. And he said, am I crazy to say that the Kawhi comp is Michael Jordan in the sense of their game? Not look, Michael is the GOAT, obviously, for sure. But that was really the first year we saw Kawhi out of the San Antonio system. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of just getting to his spots, shooting over people, obviously the defensive prowess, being up close and seeing that, and seeing a top 3, top 5 player in the NBA. Right. How impressive was he that year?
Now, in that soundbite, Redick said some interesting things, and I want to quickly make something clear before we continue on with this video here. First of all, I don't think that Kawhi Leonard is a carbon copy of Michael Jordan. I don't think he's on that level. I don't think he has the tenacity and the mental toughness of Kobe and Jordan, especially Kobe. Kobe Bryant is notorious for playing injured and playing with pain. Broken fingers, you just name it, right? He went through an entire playoff series, a playoff run with a broken finger on his shooting hand, right? So I don't think he shares that with them. And Kawhi Leonard, in some rooms, can be considered the face of load management, right? Given his history with the San Antonio Spurs, obviously the Toronto Raptors. That year he was with them. Regardless of the fact that he came off of a procedure, he played 60 of the 80 games that season and missed 22 games because a lot of that had to do with load management. So there's that. Now, there is some similarities, right? If we're going to get into it, the nitty-gritty of it, there are similarities. Number one of the similarities, if we're talking about Kawhi Leonard and Jordan, is obviously their big hands. Right, they both are very big. They have very big hands, which is they're both notorious for their strength and their defensive ability. As y'all know, that Michael Jordan made 9 all-defensive first NBA teams, and he won a Defensive Player of the Year. Kawhi Leonard, I think, has made 4, but he also has 2 Defensive Player of the Years. So that's pretty impressive. But obviously, I believe that Jordan and Kobe were in rare air. Like, they're just a tick above Kawhi, and I'm a Kawhi Leonard fan. However, there's another aspect between these two players that's very similar, and that's their efficiency. Now, let me quickly say this. Some of you guys that follow the channel know that I love getting into the advanced numbers, and we could literally spend half an hour getting into the advanced numbers, really breaking these guys down. It would just take a long time. So I'm just going to simplify it. I want to focus on their mid-range games, right? Because you can really focus on that. These guys were not known as three-point shooters, but I want to focus on their mid-range, and I want to talk about the efficiency. Now, some of these advanced stats, they didn't track all of Jordan's entire career, so we're just going to pick out a few seasons. Now, if we look at Kawhi Leonard, for example, his advanced numbers, for example, the advanced stats last season, if we're just looking at field goal shooting percentage by distance, from 3 to 10 feet last season, he shot 52%. From the 3 to 10 feet, from 10 to 16, he shot 46.7% from that distance. If you look at Jordan, in the 1996-1997 season, from 3 to 10 feet, he shot 47%, almost 48%, and from 10 to 16, he shot 49%. Well, that is the mid-range, right? And the majority of Jordan's offense comes from the mid-range. That's his bread and butter. Now, if you look at Kawhi Leonard for his career from those two distances, for his career from the 3 to 10 feet, from 3 to 10 feet on the court, Kawhi Leonard is shooting 47.3% from 3 to 10 feet in the mid-range. That is astonishing. And he's shooting 46.4% from 10 to 16 feet. Jordan, they didn't track that entire number because they're only factoring in the 1996, 1997, 2000, and 2001, 2002, 2003 season. So that's not his entire career. So that's not a fair stat. So I'm not going to sit here and rely on those numbers. But nevertheless, we all know that these guys are magicians in the mid-range. So if you factor in their defense, their strength, their similarities, the similar build, Jordan is 6'6", about 220 pounds. Kawhi Leonard is about 6'7", 225, 220. I think he's somewhere around that. And they have very similar builds on NBA.com. They're not really, he's 225 pounds, right? If you look at Michael Jordan, I think Michael Jordan's playing weight was 225 pounds. I think Kobe played around at one point, I think Kobe was playing, 216 pounds, excuse me. Kobe at one point, I think he played at 210 pounds, but at one year he got up to 220. Then he dropped his weight a little bit because he wanted to really reduce his weight on his knees. Here they have him listed at playing 212 pounds. So there are some similarities between these two players. So what I want to know is this: what do you think about the comparisons that JJ Redick made? And obviously, what do you think about some of the things that I said? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.